Is it true, you talked about driving across country, listening to music, listening to the radio. You, back in the day, wanted to be a DJ. This was one of your childhood dreams?
Yeah, childhood.
Gotcha.
And childish.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was one guy I was hooked on every night, and plus we got to listen to old-time radio dramas, too.
Yeah.
When I was a kid. And anything coming over the radio I loved. But, yeah, there was something about one guy talking to you in the night. And that's where I went. Up until I was about in college, I thought maybe I could pull this off.
And when did you realize that the door had shut on this dream?
It has?
Yeah, maybe. It's all right. No. I mean, I could probably get you a
right
podcast.
now, this is from 1963, and we're coming in.
That would have been really good.
Yeah.
Do you want to try a little bit more?
No.
Okay. The Connors, you have some exciting guest stars coming up. Katie Sagal.
Katie Sagal, could be a possible girlfriend. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
And Danny Aykroyd was on the other day.
That's fantastic.
Played a poker game, and he wrote his lines. So it was just hang on. What's Danny going to do?
Yeah. So now I would imagine most guest stars on the show are not given the right or encouraged to write their own lines, but Dan Aykroyd, obviously a different deal.
Yeah. They let him go, and it was pretty good.
That's fantastic. So when, so you and Danny had obviously worked together before, doing Blues Brothers stuff. When's the last time you would work together with him? Before this?
Doing SNL.
Okay, gotcha.
But I think it was still in the 90s early. Or no, it was 2002.
Yeah. You guys dressed up like postmen in the monologue.
Yeah,
I was there, so yeah. No.
During an update.
You, what was it like the first time you met Dan? Do you remember meeting Dan Aykroyd for the first time?
Yeah, I do. I was drunk.
Okay.
The first time I met him was backstage at the Oscars, and I got lubricated and made an ass out of myself. But after that, I was consciously trying to get hired on the Blues Brothers sequel in any capacity.
Yeah.
And we got to know each other, and I think he had a good time.
He's one of those people, I don't know if this was the case when you first met him. I mean, anybody looks up to him because of how we first laid eyes on him on those iconic first years of the show. He's so gracious and kind about the things that you have done. I find it very hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard to compliment Dan Aykroyd without him turning it around and saying something nice about something
Which
you
he
did.
still does, which drives me nuts, because I didn't do it. Yeah, but you, man, you're so great. First time you lay eyes on him, the guy's a force of nature.
Yeah.
And equally gracious.
Yeah, he's a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
That's very nice that you got to do that. And obviously two different styles of show. You're doing the con in front of studio audience. You're doing Gemstone. You're shooting that like a movie.
Well, people will come and see it.
What's that?
I'll charge them $5 a head.
Do you like being able to do both at the same time?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's a stretch, and it's just because it's so different, you don't get bored too easily.
Yeah. Is it? What do you? You have coming from like a theater background. Is it still fun to do stuff in front of a live audience? Do you like that feeling?
They really overhype these audiences these days.
Yeah. Well, certainly.
You don't want to.
Yeah. But on a sitcom.
Yeah.
On a sitcom, particularly. Yeah.
You're not going to be able to time any jokes.
That's true. So I guess at that point, you're just trying to get them out and I guess. And that never happened to you on Broadway. You were never getting those reactions.
I had a guy. I did a Broadway show a couple of years ago, and the night before we opened, they let people in the front row. This guy says, "I love you, John Goodman." I love you, John Goodman.
Wait,
and they had drinks on the stage.
Oh my God! Wait,
Yeah.
so this is the beginning of the play? He's saying, "I love you, John Goodman."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that is, that's definition breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah. I would like to break in his fourth neck.
How do you get through something like that?
You just do it. Look at the other guys on stage, and they can see your panic. We got through it. It seemed like it was an hour long.
Sure.
This guy doing
have you ever been in a case where during intermission you've said, "Hey, there's a guy in the front row saying I love you, John Goodman. Is there anything we can do about that?"
No.
Okay.
Because there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
They don't. That's an extreme case. They usually just talk or do their candy wrappers. Or or text or whatever.
Do
they
you see? Is it very obvious when you see the blue light of someone's phone on their face?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine that would be. I think the thing they should tell people is not just don't use your phones. They should also say the actors will know you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because I think like that. I think everybody thinks they can just sneak a peek at their phone and forget that there's a giant. Yeah.
They got that face going.
But not John Goodman. John Goodman is on to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just know
We're
that.
gonna get you.